I'm thankful for food. Hey everyone, welcome to Princess Gay. I'm your host Connie, and today we're here with Thanksgiving. I know, we're a few days late here, but let me explain. So we're here with the 2023 horror movie Thanksgiving. Okay, that makes more sense. So this just makes sense. It just fits. What else would we be reacting to? Well, we have another movie this weekend from yesterday, but Thanksgiving. I don't know anything about this horror movie other than it's themed around Thanksgiving, which is unique because you don't really get a lot of Thanksgiving films. Like, not even just horror, but any genre. You get so many Christmas films. You even have some Hanukkah films every now and again. You have a couple movies here and there that celebrate Easter. You have definitely a lot of Halloween movies, but you don't really have like Thanksgiving. The only the only film I can say that is actually a Thanksgiving themed film is Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. If you don't know the movie Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, which stars John Candy and Steve Martin, is about Steve Martin's character trying to get home for Thanksgiving from work. That's literally the point of the film. And it's an amazingly great film, by the way. Not everything works about it. There's a couple jokes that are like, that's a little outdated. But it's, for the most part, still holds up. It's a great film, fantastic comedy. Most of the comedy holds up extremely well. There's just a couple things that don't, but that's to be expected. The movie's like from the 80s. So, yeah, definitely go watch that. The only other movie I think I've even seen Thanksgiving in that I can think of off the top of my head, outside of maybe Batman: The Long Halloween, is uh Spider-Man, the first Sam Raimi Spider-Man film with Willem Dafoe and Tobey Maguire and all. Uh, they sat down for Thanksgiving dinner at one point in that, but that's literally just a single scene, and the rest of the movie has nothing to do with Thanksgiving. So, in other words, it's about as much of a Thanksgiving movie as Die Hard is a Christmas movie. That's right. You heard it here. Die Hard is not a Christmas movie. I will fight you on that. I will fight you aggressively on that. Die Hard is not a Christmas movie because Christmas is not part of the main plot. It has nothing to do with the movie. The movie just happens to take place on Christmas. You could have it take place any other time, it wouldn't affect the rest of the film at all. Would not affect anything. Therefore, it can't be a Christmas movie. But let's talk about Thanksgiving. So, like I said, I don't really know anything about this other than that it's about the holiday. I don't know who's in this. I don't know how it connects to the holiday in terms of the horror. I know that there is a Thanksgiving horror movie about a killer sentient turkey, but that's not this. That's older, and I think there's a couple of those. I think it's a series. Never seen those, but I do know that exists. Mostly because I think it was talked about in another video on the Dead Meat channel with James A. Janice. Either way. Um, so there's actually another Thanksgiving movie for you, but I've never seen that one. um, so yeah, I don't know what to expect going into this movie at all. Um, when I think of Thanksgiving, like I think of the food, and hence the cold open that we started with me taking a bite of this cornbread. Um, but yeah, I think of the food because a lot of there's a lot of people and throughout history, a lot of like the celebration has been centered around like the pilgrims and everything. But in more recent years, people have here in America, and I'm talking about American Thanksgiving, obviously. A lot of the people here in America have come to realize that yeah, the things we were taught in school were fucking wrong. And yeah, we should not be celebrating the Pilgrims and all of that, and that it's horrific what was done to the Native Americans, and honestly, in some cases, are still done to Native Americans. It's just, it's not something worth celebrating. And the idea of like, oh, but you can use Thanksgiving as a time to be thankful for everything in your life and all. It's like, what? Why do you need a holiday for that? Why do you need a single day of the year to be thankful for the things in your life? Shouldn't you be thankful for the things in your life every single day of the year? Shouldn't that just be your normal state? That makes no sense to me. The idea of using Thanksgiving as a single day to be thankful is honestly kind of like fucked in my eyes. Like, again, it's like if you're only being thankful on a single day of the year, there's something wrong with you. That's not that just doesn't make sense to me. Just be thankful at all times, every single second of every single day, every single week, month, part of the year. Just what? So it's like, what else about Thanksgiving is there to celebrate at that point? Food. That's the only other thing with Thanksgiving. That's the only other aspect of it that really exists at that point. It's the food holiday. It's the holiday where we get together and we eat turkey, we eat stuffing, we eat cranberries, we eat, in some people's cases, green bean casserole, though I think that's nasty. Yams, pumpkin pie, stuff like that. Some people eat ham, some people eat mac and cheese, etc., etc. That's really the only valid way to celebrate Thanksgiving. And there's nothing wrong with that. Because you can view it as like, oh, we're also celebrating and being thankful for the fact that that we're in a position that we can feast like this. Because not everybody can. But again, that's something that just feels really messed up, because it's like that's, again, something you can technically celebrate at any time of year, because it's just in line with being thankful again. The only difference here, and that makes it a little more acceptable, is because it's like, yeah, but that doesn't mean you can have a feast at any point during the year. It's like that's still like a very specifically timed thing, because, the economy fucking sucks. Especially here in America, which, again, that's what we're talking about. We're talking about American Thanksgiving. We're talking about the American economy. What is this? What are we going on about here? I feel like we're getting off track, but we're really not, because it's on topic still. But yeah, um, that's kind of, it makes it a little more understandable, because it's like, oh, you really can't afford to feast most of the time. But it's like, oh, this time of year you get the big turkey, you get all this stuffing, mashed potatoes, gravy, all this other stuff. And it's like, you have enough to where it's like, oh, you're feeding your family and everything, however many people meet up for it. But then you also have leftovers. Leftovers is actually a big part of American Thanksgiving culture. You'll be eating that turkey and stuff for at least a week. Depends on how much you made and everything, how much is left over. Um, and that's normal. That's entirely normal. Um, but it's definitely not something we can afford to do. Because most of us here in America just can't afford that. Hell, a lot of us can barely afford to do it once or twice a year as it is, which is what we do. Usually Thanksgiving and Christmas. Sometimes Easter, but that's become, I think, a lot less prevalent in recent years. There's still a lot of people who meet with family on Easter, but I feel like it's become less of a thing, because people kind of realize it's like, what are you really celebrating with Easter? It's not really a celebration of anything, unless you're Christian. Like, if you're Christian, you force a celebration there with timeliness that's not even technically accurate. Um, but it's like, technically a lot of Christians do that with Christmas too. I'm getting like, I'm just talking about holiday stuff, and we're getting off track here. Let's just get into this movie, see whatever we have in store. Um, Warning you, I might finish eating this cornbread because there's not much left while we're watching. And hey, it fits the theme, it fits the movie we're going with, Thanksgiving and all that. Let me eat cornbread, deal with it. Let's get into this. Oh, before I do, this is a donation reward for Venom. I almost forgot to mention that. Venom donated for this, just letting you know. Now let's get into the movie. Cutting in here real quick to remind you of all the awesome content we have on the channel. Between Monday and Friday, we have a plethora of awesome series reactions with 2 on Wednesday. We also have movie reactions every Saturday and Sunday. I do pre-record them during the week, but upload them on the weekend. And don't forget about all the gaming content over on the Princess of Gaming channel. We have Baldur's Gate 3 every single day, Horizon Forbidden West on Mondays and Fridays, Tuesdays and Thursdays is Life is Strange, Wednesdays and Sundays is Red Dead Redemption 2, and on Saturdays we have Nier Automata. A lot of great gaming content every day. Don't forget to click the link in the description below to follow it to today's reaction. I redirect everything just due to copyright reasons. And please subscribe to the channel and like the video if you want to see more awesome content such as this. So thank you so much for tuning in, and I will see you at today's reaction. And we are back, and we'll begin with spoilers in 3, 2, 1, now. First off, if you're wondering why there's like almost like a yellow-orangish tint, it's because of the light bulb on the lamp across from me. A little bit this one too over here, but there's a lamp like right across from me, like right in this area. And it gives off a yellow-orangish light compared to like I guess a bluer whitish light. And it's almost 7 p.m. I'm recording a lot later today. You're seeing this on Sunday. I'm recording this back on Friday when I had a shit ton of stuff to record. And I didn't get started as early as I would have liked, so it's dark out now. And I'm relying on the light from the lamps as well as, you know, the light correction from the camera. So, sorry for the lighting. I can see some people saying this movie is stupid. I can see some people saying, like really focusing on the absolutely fucking stupid dialogue. Specifically the dialogue, not the rest of the writing, but specifically the dialogue. And I can see some people saying that this was too cheesy and too, like theme focused for it to be taken seriously. I loved it. I thought this was, it was corny as fuck, but in a way that's entertaining, in a way that's, I think, very purposefully corny as fuck, though I acknowledge some of the dialogue is just really bad. It's just really bad. But it's clearly meant to be corny as fuck. Like, it's a slasher film about Thanksgiving that is all predicated on Black Friday, on a Black Friday massacre situation. It's like, that's cheesy as hell. And unfortunately too realistic. Let's talk about that. Obviously I paused the video and talked about it plenty in the reaction, but to just reiterate here, this kind of shit has unfortunately happened. Not necessarily the specifics of what happened here, like with Amanda, Gina Gershon's character, getting like her skull partially ripped off and bleeding out to death after being like stampeded on. The other guy being crushed to death and everything, and so on and so forth. Not necessarily those specifics, though people being crushed to death are absolutely things that have happened in real life. Black Friday is this ridiculous, horrifically capitalistic, like, horror show that is as, like, insanely unethical as possible. These stores, like, mark their prices down so drastically just to get people to come in, because it makes them money in the long run. And the people are, like, have been basically, like, led to believe this is such a big deal they've been raised into it pretty much by media, by commercials, by just other people around them, that they go insane over it. They lose their fucking minds. They are willing to attack people just to get these deals. They don't care that they might be literally running over people and killing them. And it's just like, what the fuck? It's not that big of a deal. But that's what a capitalistic society breeds. It's a natural evolution of capitalism, just by nature. And it's fucking disgusting. That cold open, like I'm not even kidding you. Like, I was so genuinely fucking livid after watching that. Like, I think that's one of the, like, I don't know how, I always talk about this. I have no idea how my emotions show on camera, because I'm not an emotive person. I don't get like very expressive and loud and everything when I'm emotive. And when I'm angry, I tend to seethe, especially. I tend to like sit there and like brood in my anger. And I mean, this time I did let you all know, because again, I had to pause the video multiple times and I very much made it clear I was upset. But it's like, I think that's one of the angriest moments I've had, like, recording a reaction. Again, I don't know how it showed up but to you guys, but for me, it's like, that's how angry I was. Because of how real it is. Because nothing that happened in that attack was, like, nothing that happened was unrealistic. Everything that occurred is something that could happen. Because that's the thing with this movie. It wasn't unrealistic in its nature. Like, the things that were happening were, like, things that are possible. Like, physically considered possible to have happen. It's a slasher movie founded in reality. There's not, like, all this supernatural stuff about it. And so it's really interesting in that regard. Because the cold open is so realistic and so horrific that it got me like so on edge that the rest of the movie, all these other kills and all these other things happening, were freaking me out a lot more than I think they otherwise would have. Like, some of them obviously would have freaked me out. Some things would have freaked me out. I think the corn cob holders in the ears probably would have freaked me out a lot anyway. Stuff like that. But a lot more was freaking me out than normal because I specifically was already on edge from that cold open. It got me, like, in exactly the right state of mind to where the rest of it, like, bothered me. And I like that. As much as it bothered me and as much as it freaked me the fuck out, I like that because that's what a horror movie should do. Even if it doesn't, like, scare you in the most base sense of the word, like, I'd say this is at least equivalent. Like, I'd say it's, like, equatable to fear. Just not, like, boo horror kind of, or not like boo, like, scary kind of fear in that kind of way, like the way you normally think, but more like I'm disturbed, I'm freaked out, like I'm just uncomfortable and on edge kind of fear. And I acknowledge that not all horror movies scare me. In fact, a lot of them, even when I enjoy them, don't really scare me. But this one would be one of the closer ones to do so, for sure. This one would be up there as one of the more upsetting, like, just at least initial reactions I've had. Even if, like, realistically it's not, like, the most disturbing horror movie I've seen, which it's definitely not. It's just in the moment and everything. The effects were decent. I mean, I had no issue with them. And the acting, for the most part, was fine. Like, my issue was more with the dialogue, not the actors performing the dialogue. It was the writing of it. Like, certain things, like referencing Mark Cuban multiple times was, like, just kind of cringy. And then there were certain lines that were just fucking dumb. They were just fucking stupid. And not even stupid in a good way. It's just like, that's just dumb. Why did you say that? Why did you write that? And it's like, but that almost kind of gives it a little bit of its own charm. It's like, it's stupid, but it kind of knows it's stupid. It's not, I wouldn't call this a full blown satire because it definitely seems like it's trying to take itself semi seriously to the point where it's like, oh yeah, you're supposed to like see this as an actual horror film, not as like scary movie or even Scream. This isn't even what I would equate with Scream in terms of like that is a satire of slasher films. No, this I would say is an actual slasher film, just on its own merits. But it's still playing around. It's still having fun. I mean, you cast Patrick Dempsey as the villain. And in fact, that's something I forgot to look up. I wanted to look that up real quick. Let me see if I can find out. Has Patrick Dempsey played a villain? Okay, apparently there's a 1987 movie called Can't Buy Me Love that I guess he has played a villain character in. Um, at least according to Google's AI overview, which I guess take that with a grain of salt, but because sometimes that's accurate, sometimes it's very much not. Oh, here's something. Hold on. I'm trying to think. I'm seeing a post here, like from GameSpot, that's saying like Kevin Bacon and Patrick Dempsey. Which actor do you think performed better as a villain from Transformers 3 and X Men First Class? X Men First Class was Kevin Bacon. Was Patrick Dempsey a villain in Transformers 3? Hold on. Now I have to look up Transformers 3 from 2011. I know I've seen that one. Transformers 3 villain. The main villain. Oh, that's Dark of the Moon, by the way. It was Sentinel Prime. One of the, like, Transformers. Hmm. Let me see here. I'm looking up the character, like, on Wikipedia. A wealthy car collector and Carly's employer who is secretly working with the Okay. So he was like the human villain. He was working with the bad guys and everything. I guess I just don't remember enough about that movie. I have seen it. That was the movie where Megan Fox was replaced in. Yeah. Sam Witwicky, played by Shia LaBeouf, had a different girlfriend. That was Carly. Yeah. So he has played villains before. I just couldn't think of any at the moment, I guess. Um, but yeah, I think all the actors did good in this. I think the writing, for the most part, outside of the dialogue, was good. And the kills, I actually really like the kills in this. I think they were very creative. I'm definitely like I think Dead Meat, James A. Janice, I think he just put up a kill count for this. So I'm definitely gonna have to check that out to see what like the golden chainsaw for his favorite kill is. Cause I have a few here that I really liked. Honestly, I think my favorite kill was the diner lady. Like, not only do you start off by soaking her in water and then placing her wet face against the inside of a freezer door, that alone is creative as fuck. And I don't think I've seen that in anything else. But then afterwards, after slicing at her and chasing her and everything, she's sliced in half by a fucking dumpster lid. Probably the most unrealistic thing that happened in this movie, because it's like, I don't think that's how that works. I don't think that would do that. I don't think that would have enough force and like sharpness to be able to cut someone in half. Like, I understand that he rammed into the dumpster and everything, like with the car, but it's like, still, I just don't think that would do that. But it was cool. It was a really cool creative kill. The entire sequence was great. Um, I don't know. If I had to say the lamest kill, I would say maybe the stepmom. Like, the idea of roasting her like a turkey in the oven is creative and interesting, but we don't get to see enough of it. Like, we just see kind of the aftermath when she's already dead and when she's first put in the oven. But it's like we don't see her, like, skin bubbling and roasting and everything. We don't, like... I feel like there would be a lot more of that, by the way, instead of her skin just being, like, perfectly, like, golden brown. I feel like that's not how that would work, but, you know. I don't know. I just feel like that could have been a more interesting kill overall. Um... I just I like how there was the kind of guessing game, and obviously it was steering you to guess towards one of the boyfriends, the original boyfriend Bobby, or the new one who was, you know, a fucking asshole in the first place and trying to take Jess as his own right from the start. So not really a great ending that she just still ends up with him in the end. And he just stays alive, and also was not even part of the climax at all. Like, he's just not a factor in that for some reason. Um, but it's like, I think Bobby would have been so much better for her to end up with, you know? Like, Bobby seemed like a lot better of a person. I mean, I'm not saying like he was the worst though. The worst was probably Evan. Like, oh my god, I fucking hated him. From recording things in the first place to posting it, like, oh, did you see? I think that part did show on camera. The rage I felt when it showed that he had posted that, when it showed who we know is Patrick Dempsey now, his character. When we saw him watching the viral video and everything, like, I had to pause that again at that point, because that pissed me off even more than just the cold open itself. Seeing that it was uploaded and everything, and seeing that, like, you know, it had gone viral, and seeing the manipulative way it was edited. It's like showing all the footage, then RIP to the victims, and then click and subscribe here. It's like, that fucking pissed me off. I was so upset at that. Like, that got me angry. Like, more so than just the cold open. That was what set me off, like, big time. And again, it's like, while I was, like, extremely upset in the moment, like, especially looking back on it now that I finished the movie and everything and had time to, like, calm the fuck down, like, I appreciate that it did that, because that was the emotion it was kind of going for. You were not supposed to like that happened. And you were definitely not supposed to like Evan. I do not mind that he died. Not in the slightest. But some of the others I wasn't, like, really, like, wholly invested in having died and everything. Like, some of them it's like, I didn't want you to necessarily die. Like, Eula, or whatever her name was. The Russian girl, like, who died on the table saw and everything. It's like, she didn't deserve that. And everything. Also, I appreciate that this movie, like, listen, I like when movies, like, sometimes show, like, sexy scenes and stuff. But there's also a part of me that even when the actors are adults, I don't like it when like the characters are like kids and are shown to be, naked. You know what I mean? Like, okay, the actor's an adult, so it's fine that they're showing their tatas on screen and stuff. But it's like, yeah, but the character is supposed to be 16 years old. That's fucking weird. That's gross. It's like even if the actor's old enough and I understand that, I'm not blaming the actor necessarily. I'm blaming the writing. It's like why not just make the actor or the character 18? They can still be in high school if that's what you want to do. Still fucking weird, but at least then they're an adult. It's at least not as creepy. It's still weird. It's like you can make horror movies with teenagers without having to get them naked. If you want to get your characters naked, just make them adults. Make them college kids. It works the same way as high school. It really does. And you can actually do more with that in that case. I'm glad that this movie didn't do too much of that. There was one scene. The scene with the girl on the trampoline and her boyfriend and all. Like where it's like it's showing her ass and everything, and like she even before she peels off her panties and everything, it's like her skirt's flipping up and you're seeing her ass, and it's like it doesn't go into any more detail than that, and it's like thank God. But again, it's not as weird and as creepy when it's like okay, the actor is an adult, and it's like it could have been a lot worse, but it's still like come on, really. I just feel like it's just unnecessary. But at least this didn't go as far as other movies have gone. I will give it that. I will give it that. I like the soundtrack, I guess I could say as well. The music was fitting, and I had no issue with any of it. The pacing was good. I think that it was paced perfectly fine. And I do kind of like that this movie did kind of like try to like send a message in a way. It did have like notable themes and messages to say about capitalism and Black Friday and everything. It's like yeah, that shit's out of hand. And like I said, I'm recording this on Black Friday. I didn't go anywhere today. Mind you, I don't have the money to, but I'm just like, I wouldn't go anywhere even if I did have the money, because I'm not doing that to myself. I've worked on Black Friday. Back when I worked at Wendy's, excuse me. Calm down, slow down. Back when I worked at Wendy's, I worked during Black Friday. It was insane. Because when you're out going shopping for Black Friday and all, of course people are going to stop at fast food places to get food. Something quick, something easy, something tasty. Don't have to think too much about it. Don't have to spend too much money. You get the gist. Because they want to spend all the money on other stuff. But I worked that. That was hell. I'm telling you. In a situation like where like you're working either fast food or retail or anything, I will never work a Black Friday again. No matter what. If I get another job like that or something, I will never work a Black Friday again. I don't care if I get fired for refusing. That will automatically be a thing for me. I refuse. I am not going to put myself in that situation. Again, even just a fast food place, it's like that. It's not even quite the same as like a Walmart or something. But it's still like I would not do that to myself anymore. Because even just the fast food place was like so horrifically exhausting, and so many people like being fucking assholes because they're so hopped up on what the fuck ever because of adrenaline, I guess, because of the Black Friday deals and everything. And I worked in the back for the most part, outside of like going and emptying trash and stuff. Like I was mostly like, putting patties on the grill and stuff and flipping those and replacing fries occasionally. I was doing the burgers when I worked Black Friday, but it's like it was constant. It was so constant, and there was like so much chaos of everybody running around to grab. It's like, oh, I need to go grab more fries from the cooler. I need to go grab more patties and everything. And it's just like, it was insanity. And again, like, even though I was in the back, yeah, we could hear people like bitching and complaining and like screaming and everything. And it's like being in the back really didn't help. It wasn't any easier. It was hell. Um, but yeah, I'd never like work on a Black Friday in like a location like that, fast food, retail, anything like that, and I would never go out to those places on a Black Friday otherwise. Anyway, it's just like I won't put myself at risk like that. I'm not going to do that, and again, I don't think anyone should. I honestly, I think Black Friday should be outlawed. I'm not even joking. With the amount of people that have actually died because of this shit, I do think it should be outlawed. It never will be, but it should be. Anything that has caused like deaths like that consistently should be against the law. It just should not be a thing. But, you know, this country values capitalism and money more than people's lives, so fuck everybody, I guess. Gotta love America. Anyway, yeah, I really enjoyed this. Tell me in the comments below, what did you think of this one? And for those of you who celebrated Thanksgiving back on Thursday, hope you had a fun day no matter how you celebrated it, who you celebrated it with. Hope everything went well. Hope you had some good food. Yeah, hope all is good and hope that you have a good holiday season as we enter into it, whether you celebrate Christmas, Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, Yule, or anything else. Or don't celebrate a specific winter holiday at all. No matter what the case may be, I hope your winter season is fantastic. And yeah, if you want to keep checking out the content here on the channel, I won't complain. Shameless plug, right? That being said, like I said, thank you so much once again for tuning in. I'm Connie, and I'm signing off. See y'all next time.